So we have the last portion left in solutions, Henry's law and solubility. What do you mean by solubility? How much of the solute you can put in a unit volume of a solvent? Okay, you take 1 liter of a solvent. How much solute in grams you can put there so that you get a saturated solution at a given temperature and pressure. That is the solubility. Saturated means after that you cannot add any more of the solute. It won't get dissolved. So the units is amount of solute in solvent. So grams per liter, or you can say moles per liter. Solubility depends on several factors. The first factor is the nature of the solvent and solute. How does the nature of solvent and solute affect solubility? If you take polar solvents, they will dissolve only in polar solutes. Polar solutes will dissolve only in polar solvents. Non-polar solutes will dissolve only in non-polar solvents. For example, you can take sodium chloride in water. Both are polar. So sodium chloride is a polar solute that dissolves in the polar solvent water. Okay. Similarly, for the next one, you can take benzene and carbon tetrachloride. Benzene is non-polar, carbon tetrachloride is non-polar. Second factor is temperature. Okay, you know that if you have a solute and solvent together, we call it a solution. Okay. Suppose the formation of the solution, you need heat. It's an endothermic, means if you increase the temperature, solubility increases. Okay. If it is a reaction where heat is given out, then if you increase the temperature, solubility decreases. What we are going to do mainly here is pressure. Now we cannot talk about solid solutes and liquid solutes here because they are anyway compressed. Okay, so pressure is not going to affect the solubility. What is more important for us is how pressure affects gaseous solutes. Henry's law. What does Henry's law say? The solubility of a gas in a liquid is proportional to the partial pressure of the gas above the liquid surface. Okay. Now solubility I can measure in terms of what? Mole fraction. Okay. So mole fraction of gas in the liquid and partial pressure of the gas above the liquid, both of them will be proportional. So we have written P is proportional to mole fraction of gas in the liquid. So to remove the proportionality sign, we have to introduce a proportionality constant Kh. That Kh only we say is Henry's constant. So P is equal to Kh into mole fraction of gas in liquid. From that I can get the value of Kh as P divided by mole fraction of gas in liquid. See, in the numerator you have pressure and in the denominator of Kh you have mole fraction. Okay. So what will be the units? Mole fraction doesn't have units, so you will have the units only so many millimeters of mercury or bar or atmosphere or whatever you have. On the right hand side, what you see is a graph. That graph is there actually in your NCERT textbook. Okay. What has been plotted here? Mole fraction and partial pressure. Okay. For a particular solution it has been plotted. And you know always that the slope of a line is given by tan theta. So here compare this P is equal to Kh into chi of gas and liquid, that you compare with Y is equal to mx. Okay. Instead of Y you have partial pressure and instead of m you have Kh. So now tan theta is equal to the slope, which is nothing but Y is equal to mx. So m is your Kh. So Kh is the slope. That's what is shown in the diagram. Let's learn more about Kh. Kh, or Henry's constant, it depends upon the nature of the gas, nature of the solvent and temperature of the solvent. In the table, this table is also given in your NCERT textbook only. They have tabulated the different Kh values for gases. If you see, helium has the highest Kh value followed by hydrogen, nitrogen and oxygen, isn't it? Now there are 2 nitrogens and 2 oxygens. That is nothing but when they change the temperature, the Kh value is changing. Okay. So at different temperatures they have plotted the Kh values. If you note, the Kh value, okay, is inversely proportional. Kh is equal to P divided by mole fraction. So from that I can say that solubility or mole fraction is inversely proportional to Kh. So what can I understand from that? If solubility and Kh are inversely related, means if you have higher Kh value, the solubility will become lesser. Okay. Let's see some real life examples of this solubility concept. Often they ask this, why aquatic animals are comfortable when the water is cold water. Okay, when temperature decreases, solubility will increase. So solubility increases means more amount of oxygen will be present in the water and it will be easy for the aquatic animals to breathe. So aquatic animals are comfortable in cold water. Another example is when we open soda bottles, okay, carbonated drinks, it will fizz. Okay, why does that happen? Actually, the carbon dioxide is dissolved there and packed in high pressure. When you open it, the pressure will fall because of the atmospheric pressure outside. So when pressure falls, solubility decreases and the carbon dioxide actually comes out from the solution and fizzes out. The third example is a condition called mountain sickness. When somebody gets mountain sickness, they get mountain sickness when they go to very high altitudes, when they climb mountains like that. Okay, so once they reach up, they will have some sort of mountain sickness. So what is the characteristic of mountain sickness? They will have mental confusion, tiredness. Okay, why does this happen? Because when they climb up, height increases means the pressure decreases. Okay, so when pressure decreases, solubility decreases and they get less oxygen. Okay. Next case is the deep sea divers. See, embolism, there is one condition. When gas gets trapped in blood vessels and block it, we say it is embolism. Okay. So now deep sea divers, they'll go very deep into the sea. In the deep sea, the pressure is very, very much. Okay. So more soluble. So lots of oxygen and nitrogen will be there in their blood. But when they start ascending, when they start climbing up, when they come up, the pressure drops. So when the pressure drops, the gas inside will try to come out. It's more or less, you can compare it to that soda bottle fizzes, isn't it? So when it starts coming out, you will get gas bubbles trapped in blood vessels. So deep sea divers have to be careful about this condition. In this slide, there's a numerical given. Find the mass of carbon dioxide dissolved in 500 ml of soda at 2.5 atmosphere pressure of carbon dioxide at 298 Kelvin. KH value is given. So first, since 2.5 atmosphere pressure is given and KH is given in PA, we'll convert 1 atmosphere to pascals. The conversion unit is given. Okay, KH value I've written down. Now the mole fraction of the gas is number of moles by total number of moles. So number of moles of carbon dioxide divided by total number of moles. What are the two gases there? Carbon dioxide and water, isn't it? Because it's soda. So carbon dioxide by carbon dioxide, number of moles of carbon dioxide plus number of moles of water. But what happens is the number of moles of carbon dioxide is very, very less compared to the number of moles of water. So you can replace the denominator by just number of moles of water. Substitute the values you have in P is equal to KH into chi of the gas molecules and you will be able to calculate the value of X as 1.7 grams. This is just a problem to try by yourself. Hydrogen sulfide, you know about hydrogen sulfide gas, no? It has rotten egg smell. So this hydrogen sulfide gas, he has given what is its solubility in water at standard temperature pressure and he is asking you to calculate Henry's constant. Your answer should be KH2 is equal to 282 bar. I have also given you a hint of what you can use for P of hydrogen sulfide since he has given standard temperature pressure. So please try this problem by yourself. So we have the last portion left in solutions, Henry's law and solubility. What do you mean by solubility? How much of the solute you can put in a unit volume of a solvent? Okay, you take 1 liter of a solvent. How much solute in grams you can put there so that you get a saturated solution at a given temperature and pressure. That is the solubility. Saturated means after that you cannot add any more of the solute. It won't get dissolved. So the units is amount of solute in solvent. So grams per liter or you can say moles per liter. Solubility depends on several factors. The first factor is the nature of the solvent. Minimum boiling azeotropes. Minimum boiling azeotropes are those that show positive deviation from Raoult's law. Okay, you remember how we drew the graph for this. Okay, in this what will happen is the azeotropic mixture. What is azeotropic mixture? See, for example, when we take ethanol and water mixture, once you have got the 95% ethanol composition, the liquid and vapor will have the same composition. Okay, after that you cannot separate it at all. That is called as azeotropic composition. Okay, so the boiling point of the azeotropic mixture will be minimum. That is, it will be lesser than its constituents. The reason why we cannot do fractional distillation is the mole fraction in liquid phase will be equal to the mole fraction in vapor phase. In that case, we cannot do fractional distillation. What do you mean by maximum boiling azeotropes? Maximum boiling azeotropes are those that will show negative deviation from Raoult's law. So if you take this, again, the idea is the same, but you can take an example of nitric acid and water. So 168% nitric acid solution, see, is reached. Once that solution is reached, the vapor will have the same composition as in the liquid phase, so you cannot separate it further. Okay, but in this case, the boiling point will be maximum. It will be higher than its constituents. So these type of azeotropes are called as maximum boiling azeotropes. With this, we have completed most of the topics in solutions.